All right. So now it is at your girl's recording. Let's go ahead and let's jump into this next damn reaction, shall we? This weather has been very bipolar this season. And speaking of bipolar, Tommy, shout outs to you, gang. I'm not saying you, but the video title. The Goofy World of Influencer Politics. Speaking of bipolar stuff, especially with this election, it is upon us. I don't know how you guys are feeling about with the election. I don't know how y'all feeling about with this whole presidential campaign that's going on. Quite interesting to say the least. Very interesting. So, without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and let's get into this next video. Y'all, let's do it.
American politics is easily one of the most ferocious, cruel, and feral careers to dip into. On one end, you have to act like the most joyous and empathetic leader to your party and make sure to let your supporters know.
Pause. What was that? What was that?
No, you'll never let them down. And on the other end, once you actually win, respond to all your supporters who are mad you never fulfilled any of your promises. Now, growing up, I never really cared about politics because, I was child. Like, nowadays, there be kids that be caring about political issues, bro. Go have a childhood, little bro. Play some Fortnite and eat lunchly while watching the Hawk 2 podcast like a regular Gen Alpha kid.
No. I'm still kind of on the fence on the fact that she even got a podcast. Now anybody can get a podcast. I'm not getting on her, but man, that level of like, what she's suing the guy it is that interviewed her for the whole Hawk 2 thing. She's suing the person that interviewed her. He didn't ask for no money, no nothing. All he asked for was a shout out. That was it. And she's suing him. The clout is one hell of a drug. Clout is one hell of a drug, gang.
And while growing up watching YouTubers, you never really heard their political view because no one really cared. Like, we're trying to watch an entertaining video and not watch the news. But recently, in the past couple of years, and especially now since the election as of recording this is a month away, a lot of influencers all of a sudden have been becoming political and are letting everyone know who they're sliding for. Whether they're right wing, left wing, Red Bull gives you wings. It's almost as if influencers who pick their gang now have to defend the presidential candidate like they're actually them. Because the internet sees you supporting them as you saying you basically support everything they do. But the main question I had is, why is this happening all of a sudden? I mean, it's not like social media just blew up this year. We've had a solid 4 elections of it being mainstream. And it hasn't been as much influencer outward support for politics, I would say, up until this year. So I want to get started from when Biden got elected. When Biden got elected, all of social media threw a party, happy that the tyranny of Trump for years was finally over. I'm not saying that was my view, but that was the universal view from people online. Plus, he was kinda coming out of the most controversial presidency, and COVID just wasn't a good look to people.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or...
Then it was kinda chill. I feel like you didn't hear much about Biden's whole presidential run.
Cause he's been asleep. I'm sorry. I didn't know about the whole Sleepy Joe thing until it is like a year ago, gang. And to be honest with you, isn't he like the oldest? Isn't he like the oldest president it is that we have as of right now? There's nothing wrong with this. Like, him being a vice president, he was cool. But like Joe, and doesn't he have dementia too, Joe? At this rate now, the best thing it is that I could able to tell you is you gotta focus about with your health, your family. You know what I mean? You have been living, I should say. Let me not say live, past tense. You've been living a very great long life, gang. Trust me. Wait, he has dementia? Yes, he does. And I mean, and that's not to say that he can't run for president, because boy, have we had very interesting presidents within our time. But at this point, I was just like, we don't really know too much of what's been going on, is because of the fact that he has been a little asleep. You know, he said stepping down was the right decision. Oh, he didn't step. technically he didn't step down. He just didn't go for another presidential run. He's not going for a second term. I think that was probably a smarter thing for him to do.
Up until 2022 when inflation started to clap the cheeks of everyone. And you saw videos of him constantly stuttering at speeches, falling down 4 steps of stairs. Then slowly, one by one, you started to see more and more celebrities, influencers, or whatever say their support for Trump. Which is when a split started to happen online between the influencers who supported Biden/Kamala and the influencers who supported Trump. And the reason I think all of this random Trump support from influencers started to happen was because between 2016 to 2021, let's be honest with ourselves here, alright? If you showed even a lick of support for Trump as a celebrity, influencer, or whatever back then, you could call it quits on your career at that moment. Like, I remember when Kanye started supporting him, and holy this man was the punching bag for the rest of the year. He still ain't recovered. He lost potential sponsorships and all of his celebrity friends. Which, if you're a person that gets so mad at your friend for their political view that you stop being friends with them, you're a loser and immature as can be. And I maybe not with this generation, but I will say it is for our parents generation. That was actually a thing of why people would actually stop talking to you, because your political views, religion, political views, like those are still some things it is that people would not rock with you over to this day, to be honest. But it was such a thing with our parents' generation for sure. Like, let you go ahead and say it is that you was a Republican, people will look at you and be like, oh, okay. You know, like you get like, oh, you're one of those left-wing people. Like, yeah, like it almost is like they were saying a slur to people it is of their politic backgrounds, you know what I mean? So that was actually a thing. I feel like Kanye was the example to influencers who maybe did like Trump on why they wouldn't say it online. But when people had things to actually complain about Biden and saw how bad he was doing, some influencers finally felt like it was time and comfortable coming out the Trump closet. You had the Nelk Boys do a podcast with him, Logan Paul do a podcast with him, Aiden Ross do a stream collab with him, and more influencers that no one really cares about. Bryce Hall, I guess. Then for the Kamala side, I feel like as soon as Biden got booted out and Kamala was in, that's when the influencer support started to pour out. You had Hassan Piker showing support for her, the Call Her Daddy podcast, which if you don't know is the #1 women's podcast. You had Taylor Swift, which, whew, yeah, that's one person Trump should have not made an enemy if he wanted to get white girls' votes. Supporting Kamala.
Yeah.
In a full Instagram post. Megan Thee Stallion supporting in her own way. Actually, I might just vote for Kamala. That's all it takes for me. Anyways, the theory on why
Gang, even I love Megan Thee Stallion, but you don't see me glazing that hard. You don't see me glazing that hard. You said that's not Ari for real. Cause even then, like, I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. I did find, like, I love Megan. I do. I get it. A bag is a bag. But the twerking campaign, those things don't at a like, you know, at a campaign rally, those things don't go synonymous. So that's why I was just like, even for me, it can come off a little distasteful, just a little bit. You gotta call, like, I had to call a spade a spade. I love Megan Thee Stallion, but I was like, I still love you, gang, but you know that, like, shaking ass during the campaign is good. that's crazy. That's a crazy one. But you know, I still love her.
All of these influencers are all of a sudden becoming political experts is because they're getting paid a bag to do it. And I'm not talking about just one side doing it. I'm talking about both sides. Nowadays, both of the parties know the only way to tap into the youth vote is by being active on what the youth is actually on.
Exactly. I think people need to understand that when the question of, like, well, why are they doing streams? Why are, like, is Kamala Harris doing streams, like, or being on Twitch, or why is Donald Trump being on Twitch? Because that's where the younger generation is. You have to cater to the young vote. You have to cater to the votes of all ages if you want to be really politically correct, you know? Even for me, I was actually saying it is like I tweeted this like a couple months back. I'm like, watch Kamala Harris be on the stream with Kai Cenat. Now, I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if it is if that was like a real thing or not. But even for me, I was just like, hey, Kamala, I'm like we've had presidents who's running people that was running for presidency go on the Breakfast Club, go on all different types of radio shows, podcasts, and stuff like that. There's nothing new. There's nothing new with that. They're trying to to cater to the younger audience, like like Hillary Clinton saying it is. I carry hot sauce in my purse, that type of thing, and she really said that. She really said that. It's whatever it takes to get the vote is what it is they're going to do, even if it is as with streams and podcasts and stuff like that. That's where the younger generation is. That's where it is you can able to relate to the younger generation. So why not? Kamala Harris being on TikTok, Donald Trump being on TikTok. Come on.
Both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have TikToks, which is funny to me because wasn't both of these just trying to ban it? I swear the only reason TikTok is still up is because the election is around the corner and they need the youth to vote. As soon as someone gets sworn in, that brain rot app is getting decimated. I hope y'all know that. An example is when recently Kai Cenat was complaining that the Secret Service somehow got his number and started spam calling him to do a stream with Kamala Harris. Now obviously this is all rumors and all, nothing's confirmed, but even if it is true, what the f are Kai Cenat and Kamala Harris gonna do on a stream? Get sturdy and get phantom tax? As soon as this news story dropped, her team.
Wow. Okay.
Came with the quickness immediately denying that this happened. But the thing is, in the clip, he never mentioned which political party reached out to him. He just said a political party did. And Trump's team never spoke on it. So they ironically outed themselves as being the ones to do it by speaking on it. And that would be an odd thing to lie about. Like, what do you gain from that other than the government now having a target on your back for lying? For the Trump side of things, it's also basically the same thing. Tana Monaco, oh god, I still can't pronounce her name right, alleged that she was offered millions of dollars to support a certain political party, and that she was given a list of influencers who already took the money. And I know, she's not known as the most truthful person online.
That he me with a toothbrush.
But once again, what would be the point of lying about this other than having a target on your back for the rest of your life from the government? She already showed her support for Kamala online and said she's voting for her, so we can assume that the Trumpster and his team was behind this. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is true. With both of these sides, especially at their rallies, you see the most random pop up out of nowhere. You telling me Megan Thee Stallion can help with the political and economic state of the world by throwing it back? The only thing she's helping is me getting bricked on a lone Thursday. And you're
gang, lock in. Tommy, lock in. He said, isn't Sexy Red voting for Trump? She is. She is? Is she really? He ain't lying though. Okay. He letting his horny side take over. Right. But then again, like somebody else was also complaining about the fact that like Megan Thee Stallion got that True Religion campaign, not campaign, but like the the promo. And it's like, oh, it should have been given to Sexy Red. It's just like, why in Jesus' name would they want to go ahead and give a True Religion campaign, a promo to somebody it is who was putting out lip gloss by the name of gonorrhea and syphilis? Like, have we not forget it is that this girl literally made lip glosses of the name vaginal discharge? Like verbatim. At this point, it's just like, hey, gang, hey, she what? Look it up. Look that up. She has lip glosses and very intricate, oh my god, what in the actual names? Oh yeah, like yeah, that too. Oh my god.
You're telling me Bryce Hall can help with the political and economic state of the world? The last thing I remember about this is him getting knocked out. Some of these people have never even mentioned a lick of their political views before. Like, Lil Pump has got to be the most random one to me. This man was literally known as being one of the most sped rappers to ever exist. And all of a sudden is a die-hard Trump fan and getting him tattooed on his thigh? Now, do I think every influencer...
Now that is a very unnecessary glaze. That is unnecessary at this point. That's extremely unnecessary. Oh my God, I actually just got an ick from that. A man tattooing another man. Oof. Yeah, that's nasty work.
Influencer that's publicly supporting their candidate is getting paid? No, but I do know one thing. Even if they aren't actually getting paid by them, if their candidate wins, they gain a whole lot from it. Think of it, I mean, even if they commit the most heinous crimes known to man, the president could just simply pardon them for being loyal to them. And I didn't know this until now, but if the president wanted to, they can pardon someone who's a serial killer? I'd be damned if my loved one died and the killer gets pardoned because the president with them. Wonder if they thought that one through when in the Constitution. Like, Trump most notably pardoned Lil Wayne and Kodak Black right before he left. And Lil Wayne was gonna get 10 years, so no wonder he's supporting him. And whoever's supporting the president is definitely about to get the best tax benefits of all time. All they gotta do is sit there and be like,
man, don't even worry about these. You're not paying nothing. We'll just make everyone else pay it and send it to Israel.
That's the American government in a nutshell. You can't tell me that presidents don't be doing that on the low. I think
They
that's
do.
why Elon Musk has actually been riding Trump for the past year. Like, this man just isn't a Trump supporter. He's a Trump soldier. Trump could
Wasn't Elon Musk in some water too? And Trump saved him? Wasn't that something that happened as well, chat? I could have sworn. Because I'm like, hold on, like, Elon, people was definitely talking about you too. There was definitely talking about you too, and some of those interesting things that is like, hey, we got privated likes on Twitter because it is you was liking some very interesting things on your account, sir.
tell him to get on his knees and suck him off at the rally, and without a heartbeat he's doing it. This man is one of the richest people in the world, if not the richest. I know for a fact he gets mad when he sees how much he owes in taxes. And Trump is known as the one president who said, "F all these taxes, we're not paying them anymore." So I think this is what he thought. He had the choice between the woman who says she's gonna charge him more if she gets elected, or the guy who said he's gonna charge him less. And well, you can tell who he picked by now.
One president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight!
The issues that pop up when these influencers endorse somebody is when they actually get to talking about politics. They have no clue what they're saying. Like with politics, you have to know what you're saying is 100% confirmed, or you're just gonna look like an idiot to the masses. Which is why I really don't speak on it. I mean, I have my views, I might say a thing or two I agree or disagree with, but I'm not loyal to anyone. And even then, later on it could turn out that the info you had was fake or false and you end up looking stupid. But that might be given too much leeway about how much they care about it. Like, I highly doubt Aiden Ross is looking into Trump's policies and the intricacy of it. And I highly doubt Megan Thee Stallion is looking into Kamala's policies and the intricacy of it. I think politicians actually know how dumb Gen Z is, and that's why they're focusing on influencers. Because it may not be you, but there's people out there that whenever they hear who their favorite celeb, influencer, artist, or whoever is voting for, they'll immediately vote for the same person just because they said it. Like in the
Fair. That's fair.
Aiden Ross and Trump stream, Aiden brings up Young Thug and how he's being treated, and then Trump talks about how Young Thug is being treated unfairly and that he's got to be treated fairly. Like, what does Trump know about Young Thug? He was not bumping lifestyle as a kid. That statement.
I mean, but at this rate, I don't know what's going on with this trial. I'm sorry, even I'm watching this, and it's just, I mean, you had a whole new judge. You had the attorney go ahead and, you know, getting charged with shit. Like, he actually is being treated unfairly. Like, that's not a lie. That whole trial has just been messy. The whole YSL trial has been just messy. At this point, it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, Thug is just looking like, hey, listen, you know, and it's just, and it keeps going on and on and on. Like at this rate, free him. I couldn't tell you at this rate what they're doing. They just be arguing back and forth, and it's like, oh, I'm just gonna go to lunch. Remind me again what Young Thug is being charged with or being accused with, because at this rate, I don't even know at this point. We've lost the whole focus, the premise of why it is that he's even there incarcerated in the first place, waiting on a trial, and then it's just. I know it's Rico, but it's at this point, it's just like, come on now. We went from Rico charge to the witnesses doing shady things, the attorneys doing shady things, getting a new judge, everybody arguing with each other within the courtroom. It's just like, oh my God, bro. It's so bad. We've lost the whole focus of what this whole premise is supposed to be. You said his lyrics? He's like, you sure?
Single-handedly is gonna get in the hood who have never voted a lick of their life to vote for Trump. You just know for a fact either Aiden or someone on his team told him to mention Young Thug because that's what the cool kids listen to. And it's a smart move because that's all it takes from our generation nowadays. And that post of Taylor Swift supporting Kamala Harris is gonna have every white girl in the nation voting for her. Same with Megan Thee Stallion, except she actually recorded a whole video with her, so that's gonna check off every black girl vote in the nation. It's kind of sad to think how stupid our generation is with politics. Like back then, they went out to civil protest and may have disagreed with each other. But nowadays, no matter which side you pick, you go to war with half the internet. College campuses are a war zone nowadays. People fighting 24/7. And it's funny because in the time back then when racial tensions and sexist tensions were much more ingrained in the country, when they talked about these issues, it was somehow more civil than it is now. It's also super cringe to me when an influencer says who they support and a person goes, ugh, I can no longer support you anymore. Okay, then leave. We don't need a farewell message. That's the most immature ever to me. Like, bro, it is never that deep. You don't even fully know why they support that person. It doesn't mean they support everything. Like, most people have family that have different political views. Are you gonna completely cut them off just because of that? Which is why most influencers choose not to be political, because it just alienates half your audience. Even if
Period. Yeah, even for myself. That's why I don't speak too much on politics stuff, because then that gets reared into a whole nother debate. It's the same thing with religion. You know, that's why it is that, you know, like with the conversations that we had earlier, I was just like, I don't want to teeter into either or on those things, because that's when it is, that's like make break points, unfortunately, for influencers, content creators, streamers. It's like, you know,
if you support just a couple things about the person, people are gonna assume you support everything, which is why I respect influencers who choose not to get involved, especially when they don't know much. And if the rumors are true about a bag and you're getting potentially offered millions to join, but you choose not to, that's even more respectful to me, because most people take that back. Like Kai Cenat, for example, didn't want to do the stream with Kamala because he said he doesn't know about politics. And a lot more of these celebs gotta take that note, I'm gonna be honest. Look, at the end of the day, I really don't care who an influencer is supporting, and neither should you. And I'm not saying influencers shouldn't show their support for whoever they believe in, but please, for the love of God, take a grain of salt with every political view you hear from an influencer to make your own decisions. It's getting real rough out here for me to have hope in us. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time, I'm out.
You know, I'm loving the whole Halloween, you know, decorations in the back, gang. Love that. But hey, listen, Tommy, shout outs to you, gang. Thank you so much for the video. Shout outs to y'all in the chat. Shout outs to you at home. Voting day is coming up. Be prepared for it. I'll see y'all in the next video.